Here is Stefania Cassini, and you're watching Without Your Hat.
All right, now we're live here at the Station of Decapitation Without Your Head. I'm Nasty Neal.
Terrible Troy.
Mm-hmm.
That would still make me terrible Troy, even if I was muted.
What did you say, Troy?
I thought I was muted, but maybe I wasn't.
I don't think so. And we heard what you said. You know what you said.
There's no hiding.
Very professional program here.
Oh, yeah.
And the third member of the show
can you introduce us, Neal?
Maybe
nobody will know who we are.
I was about to. I was hoping if Treacherous Trista would introduce herself, and we go into the...
Oh, sorry, I should do it again. I think
Let's just start all over. Welcome to the Station of Decapitation Without Your Head. I'm Nasty Neal.
That's a crazy shirt, Nasty Neal. I like it a lot.
Thank
that
you.
would make me terrible, Troy.
Right.
I'm Treacherous Trista.
Mm-hmm. And we're joined by the fine people here of Death Drop Gorgeous. We have co-director and Tony Two Fingers, Brandon, which he has a different last name on Facebook, so I'm thrown off. Brandon Perras. Not Brandon, and then Brandon spelled backwards. We have co-director and Detective O'Hara, Mike Ahern.
Hi.
We have the lead, and Dwayne. He's Dwayne in the movie. Wayne Gonsalves.
Yep.
And the postman and the pup, Ryan Miller.
Yep.
Hello.
And we have the returning Scream Queen herself, Linnea Quigley.
Oh my gosh!
Yay!
And this movie's a scream! Yay!
Very well put. So,
Welcome, everybody.
yes, good to have you all here.
That's Magic as
Magic.
the dog.
Oh, hi, Magic.
So hello to Magic. You have a whole whole family there of dogs, I believe.
Oh my God, the dog's jumping in back of the TV now. I don't know why.
Those are the true stars.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to unplug everything now.
So
when is this premiere of Drop Dead Gorgeous going to be?
Actually, this Saturday. It's online at the Wicked Queer Fest. They're premiering it at 9:30 Eastern.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And where is that?
So it's a festival that's based in Boston, but they're doing virtual this year, unfortunately, just kind of like everybody else due to COVID. So if you go to wickedqueer.org, that has a list of their lineup, and it runs from, I think, starting today, actually, with a couple of films all the way through, I think, maybe like next week sometime. And so our film's you can actually buy tickets online when you go to their site, and then that'll give you 24-hour access to whatever film you buy a ticket for. So ours is going to start at 9:30 tomorrow night. Or sorry, Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when my plane gets in, who's picking me up?
Hey, I'll come pick you up.
I'll come get you.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, rain or shine, 4 a.m., whatever.
Is this going to tour, like a touring thing?
I wish. It'd be awesome. Hopefully.
It should. It's a really great movie.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
For people not aware yet, can you explain what the movie is about?
Yeah.
Who? Me?
Anybody. Anyone who is willing to take the question.
So the movie takes place in Providence, Rhode Island. It's about there's just all these dead bodies that keep getting found, drained of blood, and they'll kind of connect to this one club. And so there's obviously some kind of maniacal killer going around who's luring in people on one of those sex apps. But at the same time, there's also a turf war between some of the older drag queens and younger drag queens. And then also a bartender who used to live there comes back into town. He's kind of like an outsider and just trying to figure out his way around this community and trying to feel secure and normal. But
That's Wayne.
Yes, yeah. But you mentioned the app, Pounder. I went to add it to my phone, but I couldn't find it.
Yeah. It was deemed too dangerous. Yeah.
It's only a dark
the movie's probably not a ringing endorsement for Pounder if it was a real app. I guess.
Yeah.
Depending on what you're looking for.
That's
True. Yeah.
Well, Linnea, how did you get involved in Death Drop Gorgeous?
Well, I knew Brandon, and I thought he was so cool, and he asked me when I was in Salem to be a part of it, and I said, yeah, let's do that. And we filmed, and it was so fun. He was a great director, and when I watched the trailer and the movie, I was like so impressed. The lighting and everything they did on all this, and the production values are amazing. So I'm glad I'm involved with this.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. We're glad you're involved.
It was fun. It was so fun. I remember it was so cold that night too,
Yeah.
at least for me.
Yeah.
And we went out, but we were in a car, so it was fine.
We actually met through Devin Hunt too. So Devin Hunt did some of the scoring in the film as well. Yeah.
Oh my God, did he?
Yeah.
That's
He
right.
scored,
I met you through Devin Hunt, the drummer.
Yeah.
For Sex
Who I met when he was in Sexcrement.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And now he's in Bricks and Mortar. So
you were in a Sexcrement video, right?
Yep.
yeah, I was. What was it called?
It was like the
Trucker Bomb.
Yeah,
Trucker Bomb.
I believe it was filmed at the Friendly Toast.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I met him,
Exactly.
too.
I remember I never knew what a trucker bomb was until I did that movie, or not that video.
You told me what that was when we were talking about that video. I was like, oh wow.
I know. I'm still not aware. I mean, I'm the naive one here, I guess. What is a
Brandon
trucker
can
bomb?
tell you.
All right, Brandon. What is? He's the expert in the trucker bomb, apparently.
It's the pea in a jar thing, isn't it?
Oh, okay.
I've never heard of it.
Truckers
I thought it was something you were looking up on pounder.com.
Yeah.
Truckers do speed, and then when they urinate, the little whores drink it.
Oh man, this is definitely something found on Pounder.
And this is why Linnea was in our film.
It's all coming together.
She brings the knowledge.
This kind of knowledge, exactly.
Those little
I was going to say, it was so funny whenever we asked her to be in our film, because we had this role that we hadn't. It was this minor character that we didn't really have filled or didn't have anyone in mind, and we were hanging out with her, and we had the idea like, oh wait a minute. Like the scene actually takes place in a car, and we're like, what if we just had Linnea go downstairs and film this really quick? And so we were like, oh, I don't know if we should ask her. That's kind of like a lot to ask. I remember like when we kind of brought it up timidly, and when we finally asked her, she was like, so do you want me to be in the film? And I was like, yeah. She's like, okay, cool. So she went to just like put on some lipstick, and then she's like, I'm ready. And that was it.
It was awesome.
We just went down and filmed it, yeah.
She made it her own too. It was pretty
Yeah.
good.
I think lipstick is her signature look now, like a red lipstick, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
You rock it too. It looks awesome.
Yeah.
I agree, definitely. So how does
Get
the
stuck in the
process work
mustache.
of three co-writers and 3 co-directors?
Mike, do you want to answer that one?
Yeah, because you have 3 credited
it's been so
writers.
long. So the script was written on a lot of Maker's Mark.
That's a secret to success.
It's a fine bourbon.
It's the elixir of creativity.
There you go.
I dipped my own
and-
Maker's Mark when I was in Kentucky. You know how it has the wax coating?
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. So delicious. So Brandon and Chris had this crazy idea for the main crux of the movie. So I'm not going to spoil it, but Brandon and I were talking about horror movies, and that's how we connected. And we were just kind of like, we should just make our own. And he was like, funny you should mention that. And I had this weird idea. And then we just met at this bar, and we just started outlining it. And then we would just like meet once a week. We'd read some pages I wrote, and we'd edit them, and Chris and Brandon would make it better. And we'd just like did that for a very long time. Originally, the script was like 130 pages. It was like a stupid amount of pages, wow. And we had to like cut it down a lot. But yeah, I don't know. We kind of just like all wore a bunch of different hats, like between the five of us. One of the other co-writers and co-directors, Chris, who couldn't be here tonight, he like also did a lot of directing, and he plays Brian in the movie. Okay.
So on set too, I kind of took a backseat with directing. So Chris and Mike did most of the directing. I did majority of the camera work. So that's how it was easy to work like that on set.
Yeah.
What scene was cut that should have been in the film? Like when you wrote it, you said it was 130 pages?
There was just a lot of, we were just like, I don't know what we were doing. We were just like drinking too much, and like just, there was a lot of plot lines that were just us like being funny. I don't know. I think what we cut and what we ended up with is a much stronger story than what we had at 130 pages. We just had nonsense in there.
And I mean, there was hard decisions that were made even at the editing phase. I mean, of course, I guess as there is with any film, but this is our first film. And, you know, I think originally it was like 2 hours and a little over 2 hours, and we have to cut this down. So we ended up cutting out about 20 minutes of footage, and it was all stuff that like we liked, but you know, you just have to make that hard decision of how can I keep the integrity of the film and it still makes sense, but also cut it down to a more manageable size. And so, yeah, some of the scenes that we threw out, you know, I won't get into because it might be spoilers to some degree, but yeah, it was tough decisions made all the way down, I guess.
That'll be on the extra thing, right? When you watch the movie, the extras.
Oh yeah,
ideally,
it'll be in our 2 hours.
Yeah. To cut it down from a 2 hour movie, was that like your own decision before you started to submit it to festivals, or was it more of a? Because runtime is important on the festival scene, just because they can't
totally
program like too many 2 hour movies.
We yeah. It was a little long. We got some feedback from some friends that help us along. Philip Gillette, who he made Bleeding House, and or was kind of guiding us along. Is Chris's sister is also a horror author too. It's her husband. They were kind of guiding us with, you know, cutting down some of the scenes and like, you know, trying to help shape that. And then Roman and Tyler of the Scream Queen, the Nightmare on Elm Street 2 documentary, stepped in and helped with some of the final edits too, to kind of like, you know, where to cut things, how to shave things off of little scenes. And
yeah, and you're right, Neal. Part of it was like the concerns about being able to being programmed at festivals, because they may want to sometimes block you with like a short film or something like that, and if you're running at a little over 2 hours, it's going to be harder to squeeze you in, and that'll hurt your chances of being able to be programmed. So yeah.
Devin Hunt's actually here in the chat listening, so
yeah.
Oh hey.
Oh my gosh, that Devin Hunt. He's a he drums to that stop on.
And Tony Rodriguez says cough cough sequel cough cough. He's hoping for a sequel.
Yeah.
Is there any, I know it's kind of early to talk about a sequel.
There, Holly Frightly was there at the shoot too. That was fun.
She was.
Yeah. Yeah, we might do a sequel at some point. I don't know if it'll be our next film, but you know, I think we left ourselves open to that possibility. So,
I was impressed by the production value.
Oh, thank you.
It was amazing, especially like the dancing scenes. It looked like that club was filled. It was like, was it filled?
No.
No.
Oh, really?
some camera magic, some lighting magic. We put for some of the scenes, we just had as many people as we could come in and fill up the crowd. We did it on some Sunday afternoons, which was a tricky time, but it was kind of the only time we had access to that bar. So we had to make it look like it was nighttime. We had to make sure people were getting up on a Sunday at noon, which was tricky too.
Yeah.
But we did our best.
Part of it that also made it tricky was that we had all these extras coming in, and it was for like a 4 hour, 5 hour window of filming. And they're coming in of, in their own free time, and most of them are friends with us. They're coming in and they're drinking at the bar, so they're getting progressively drunker. And then people are just sort of like wandering off. So maybe they're like, oh, I'll come and be an extra for like an hour and then I leave. So like in the footage, you end up getting like, it goes from like this full crowd to like this sparse crowd. And we're like, well, wait a minute, this is only supposed to be like 30 seconds in the movie. And we can't have the crowd just like disappear. And so we had to like be creative in like the footage we were using and where we could use it. So yeah.
Yeah, extras don't have a great work ethic. They just
yeah.
Especially when you're paying them big bucks. It's like how can they?
Yeah.
We paid them in pizza.
Yeah.
No, I wish I would have said
Wow.
that. But yeah. where is your documentary extras right now? How far along is that, Linnea? Is that still a thing?
All the footage is now compiled as of the end of June, and now it goes to the editor, Todd Sheets. So it's going to be out soon.
Oh, very cool.
Yay.
It's a long time
That's
making. So yeah.
Yeah.
Finally.
Was this all filmed in
Did
Rhode
you guys
Island?
ever
Go on, sorry.
shoot the what?
You go on, I'll ask after. What were you going to say, Linnea?
Oh, I was going to ask. Oh, what was I going to ask? I don't remember.
Something if they ever shot something.
Ruined it.
It's not important.
I'm sure it's very important, but you'll remember. Was this all shot in Rhode Island?
I was going to say, I know. Before I forget, I want to invite you all to the premiere whenever it's going to be, wherever it's going to be. So I'm extending that. I was asked to be at the premiere of Drop Dead Gorgeous.
I would have been to the premiere this weekend if it was that.
That would have been a lot of fun.
Because I'm in Massachusetts, so it's not very far.
Yeah.
How has that affected everything? Because I know you were accepted to a lot of festivals.
Yeah, it kind of like put a damper on everything, as it did with everybody's life, obviously. Right. It's not just us. But we were really gearing up for some sort of festivals and in-person festivals so we could like network, talk about our movie, sales reaction. I think our movie is kind of a movie that is more enjoyable to watch with a group or in a theater. It's just it's just like so irreverent and over the top and gory, and it's just like so it is pretty disappointing. We're super. This is all of our first film, so any festival we get into, we're always super excited. Like it's like little kids like on Christmas. So we're really thankful for the festivals, and they're doing what they can. We're hoping some will happen in the fall or winter. A lot have just postponed to the beginning of next year, but we'll see. It's all kind of up in the air.
The people that we're working with too, they're helping us producing. This whole COVID thing has changed the game. Like they don't know what's going on, or like what festivals should we premiere, and like what are the rules for other festivals we premiere here, premiere there. It's all so confusing. No one knows what's going on. But yeah, we do have some that got pushed back. We'll be in person, hopefully. The Houston Horror Fest got pushed back to June, and if everything goes okay, we'll be there in June. So that might be like our actual first in-person premiere.
I'm going to be there in Houston.
Perfect.
Yes, got confirmed.
We're partying.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. Oh
Get
my
your
God,
party
this is
hat on.
fun.
Yeah, no, and we were super excited about that. That was going to happen this year, of course, and they had to postpone, as you know. But yeah, I think all of us are just sort of waiting for that first time we can show it in like a theater, and like Brandon was saying, getting everybody's reactions to it, or like Mike was saying, sorry. But we'd also just want to hear, like Roman's been really working on the sound, and it's at like a much better place now. And it's one of these things that like, we just want to have like a subwoofer and big speakers in a big room with a lot of people and just like jam out and have fun, and hopefully one day we'll be able to.
I have a prediction that it's going to be a cult hit.
I hope so.
I hope so.
I got a good feeling on that.
It looks good.
Yeah.
I agree with the
Those
watching
who
with the
believe that
crowd.
say I.
Oh, thank you.
Well,
It'll be a blast with a big crowd, I think.
Yeah, both horror movies and comedies, I always think play best with the crowd because you have the interaction, people either being scared or laughing. And then this has both, so it's definitely a movie that people could have fun and interact with.
Yeah.
I have one quick question.
Yeah, go, of course.
Oh yeah.
I just wondered, like, did one person do like all the drag makeup, or was that like individuals doing them, or because they all look so good, they just kind of blew my mind.
So all the drag queens in our movie are from Providence, with the exception. Of with the exception of Janet Finnis. So they all are drag queens.
That's why then.
We give them a lot of like leeway in creating the characters. We obviously had some guidelines for certain ones, especially like Gloria Hole. But for the most part, the drag queens, they brought all their own costumes and they did their own makeup.
Yeah,
it made it a lot.
They just looked awesome. They looked amazing.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Just blew my mind, really.
Yeah, they do look great.
To hear that.
Gloria Hole is a great name.
Yeah.
Gloria Hole is
Audrey Hartburn.
Audrey Hartburn.
Oh yeah, some great names.
Yeah.
Are any of those their real stage names, or were they all for the movie?
They're all for the movie, with the exception of Janet Fitness. That was her stage name. So we came up with all of them. Rosebud Cienci, which is a reference to Buddy Cienci from
Rhode Island Mayor.
That one we came up with on the fly, because originally we had Las Vegas Truvada, which is supposed to be like Las Vegas, Nevada, but the Truvada, the prep medicine, but we didn't want to get sued by them, so we changed it.
Also, one of them is never mentioned is Kelly's character. It's another great name, was Lindsay Fuckingham.
Oh yeah.
She's never mentioned by name, but Kelly's name is Lindsay Fuckingham.
That's a great name.
Devin says, I'm proud of you guys. It's a true example of pursuing passion and being vigilant.
Well, thank you.
Oh, thanks, Devin.
I am so impressed and proud of my guys. Oh.
When Linnea said about production value, it's like, I always think having cool lighting can really help in that department. And there's a lot of, cool, like purple lightings, red lightings, green lightings.
Oh, yeah.
So we looked out. So the guy that helped us with our lighting, he actually built these he does metalwork and built these devices that have these really cool lights on them. So we borrowed those lights from him for all those like really nice shoots of the colored lights. But this is his own invention, and he let us use them for the film, and they were great. I'm not like a tech person, so I can't explain what exactly they are, but
yeah, he basically has a stand with like three lights, big LED lights on each stand that you can change the intensity and the color of all of them to different things. And so we just kind of positioned them how we wanted to, and it was really easy. It worked out great.
Mm-hmm.
It looks amazing. I thought you was right. The lighting is amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
and the gore. Not only is you have the makeup.
The gore does look great.
Yeah, you have some really good gore in there, which I always think for a comedy horror, it has to work in both the comedy and the horror. And I think having really cool gore effects contrasts with a lot of the other things going on in the movie. That works.
Well, thank you.
Who did the gore?
We had two different people do the gore. So Victoria Elizabeth Black from Florida, she was on that show Dragula 2. She came up with her boyfriend Opulence Black, and they did 3 of the big special effects scenes. And then the other ones were done by Scott Miller out of Western Massachusetts, who has a pretty impressive resume too, and also a great guy. He came and helped with the other ones, but the two of them just did a fantastic job.
And was it all filmed in Rhode Island?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think every scene is technically, all was filmed in Rhode Island.
Except for the brief one in P-Town.
And Linnea.
Salem, riding my broom.
Yeah.
How long was the shoot? How long was the shoot?
With you?
No. I know that. I wasn't drinking or anything. I didn't have a blackout and not remember.
You just mean in total how long?
The whole shoot.
Yeah. Like a year and a half, almost 2 years, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was probably about a 2-year production, just because it's none of our full-time jobs. We were doing it on nights and weekends. We were working around the schedules of our actors and when spaces were available to film in. So it took almost I would say probably 2 years of production.
And I think at the height of it, we were filming almost maybe every other weekend or 3 out of 4 weekends. There was a few months where there'd be a stretch like that. And then sometimes there might be a stretch where we didn't film for a month or more because we were waiting on some space to become available or something like that. But in total, I think it was just about 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's good. That's not bad at all. What did you shoot it on?
On a Canon and
Canon 7D.
Canon and Osmo. I forget the numbers on him.
Yeah, it's just like a built-in gimbal. It's like a camera that almost like a GoPro type thing, but it has a stabilizer built into it, so it makes it easier to use for some movement shots. But most of it was the Canon 7D, and then I think that was it.
It was really good looking. It wasn't video-y looking or anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It looked full, like a film or something. It was really cool.
Oh, thank you.
So I know both Devin and Tim Fife, who I also know helped with the score, and some other people. Tim's a great guy too. And when you have multiple people doing the score, is that difficult at all? Because some people might have a different approach to the music than somebody else.
We kind of had no idea what we were doing for the score because the movie was just spread out all over the place because we were working on scenes towards the end of the movie, in the beginning, and scenes at the beginning of the movie towards the end. We didn't know what people's time frames were like. We're oh my God, we have so much footage to score. We had so many people that wanted to score it too. And so we gave the bigger scenes to Devin, who was already on board. So he did most of the bigger ones. And this guy, Kevin Bowden, who did some really great work with us too. He did some of the other larger scenes, who was he's a local too. He's easy to work with. And then Tim awesome scenes too. So I think it worked out just because we had there's scenes that got scored that we didn't put in the movie. So it's kind of, now that we have a movie under our belt, we kind of know what we'll do next time. But it was a
yeah. I think also Brandon was knowing what we're doing and being music. The movie takes so many different angles in terms of it's campy at times, it's dark at times. We have drag queens that are Rosebud Cianci that's singing this old-fashioned Broadway-esque type songs, and then you have Janet Fitness doing this young poppy music or whatever. And so there's just the music is all over the place in the film, but I think that reflects just the sort of themes that we cover in the film. It's funny, and there's high parts, and then there's dark low parts, and so trying to figure out one particular type of music to fit all those moods would be hard. So we just I think we gave ourselves leeway in terms of bringing on a lot of people who were really talented to be able to help produce stuff for those scenes. So
there was a lot of scenes too that we were just thinking about just putting a song over, but then we realized they had to be scored. So I think that played a big hand in that too. So
you were thinking, what about continuity? Was that a big problem because you filmed over 2 years?
My beard changes length several times, so yes. I could have been a little more.
One of those films, you go, "Oh my God, look at his beard." That's wrong. It's kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I didn't notice.
Well, that's
either.
Good.
I could have been a little more vigilant about its length, but then there's a whole section of the movie where we're interviewing suspects, and my beard is a different length every time.
I think I developed
the length of the beard. I'm checking.
I think I developed more wrinkles over the 2-year period, but luckily I'm wearing a pup mask the whole time, so you can't actually tell what's going on.
Ryan got more gray hairs in his beard since we started, mostly because of stress.
And had some hair changes too.
No, yeah.
Was that just your own mask?
Yeah.
I've been a couple scenes my hair length is a little too.
I stole the pup mask from this leather bar I work in. I have to return it back to them.
Yeah.
What's a pup mask?
the dog mask that I was wearing in the movie.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant. At first, I thought it was Huff, and then I was Pup? What do you
No,
mean?
like
Okay, I know what you mean, like a puppy. Okay,
Right.
the one you're wearing.
Yeah.
I thought you were wearing a Huff one. I'm sorry.
The movie's educational too. You get to learn new things.
Yeah.
Pup mask.
Yeah. Now, will Trista and I be in the next film that you're writing? I hope.
Yeah. I'm down.
Yeah.
Right.
I like this idea.
Totally.
Yeah, quarantine's been good. We've been able to like sort of myself, Brandon, and Ryan all live together, so we were able to like start writing like other projects and like outline new things, which is really exciting. So it kind of was good to us in that sense.
Yeah. Anything?
You already forgot how exhausting this was.
Yeah.
Like giving birth, probably. They always forget. It's like so painful and they get pregnant again.
That's like a really, that's actually probably a very accurate analogy as to how this is going to go down.
Oh, Wayne, how did you get involved? How did you get the role of Dwayne?
Oh God.
Was it because the name is so similar?
That casting couch.
That casting couch. I've known Brandon and Ryan for a very long time, and then was kind of introduced to Mike when Brandon kind of approached me about the movie, and that I'd never met Mike, and that he was kind of like, it's a little like, there's a little truth to the story. And Brandon was like, why don't you read some of the script? And as I'm reading the script, I'm reading some of what Mike wrote, and I was like, I've never met Mike, but how is he writing such realistic stuff about it?
It's going through your belongings.
I think so.
I was spying on you for a whole year.
Oh my God.
The
truth comes out.
Peyton St. James says, so proud of you guys. You make life a better place to be.
Oh,
we love Peyton.
Awesome.
Peyton's amazing.
I cannot sing my praises enough.
Incredible in that movie.
Yeah, and
incredible everything. Like, we've seen a couple of her plays, and she is just mind-blowing.
Yeah, her performance, like, Gloria Hole is based on this, like, drag queen legend from Providence, and she just brought such a full, nuanced, and more depth to the character than we could have ever hoped for. And yeah, she's great.
She has one of those faces you just can't stop looking at, when she's on screen, and everything that she does, like the mannerisms and her reactions to things. It's just, she I think brings every like line to life in a way that, like Mike said, is beyond what we hoped for.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil anything. Go on.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil anything.
I will stand out and get an Academy Award, I think.
I mean, Linnea's role is,
I'm joking.
It's right up there. It's right up there. It's a little bit smaller, but it's just as good.
Right. Oh, I thought you were talking about me before. I'm so embarrassed.
Before we went live, we were talking about a meat grinder scene, and I won't give too much away, but you did say that it was vegan friendly. There was no like actual meat used in the movie.
Yes, so no animals are harmed in the film, except for the pup, maybe. Don't give anything away, but
It's
yeah,
not
we
a
used
real pup, so, yeah.
No.
No. Me.
Oh, Ryan was just
he seemed to like it, I think.
Yeah. I guess I was a little submissive in the film, so.
We needed some like gross, bloody, nasty meat, and so we just used some vegan hot dogs in the scene, and they worked pretty well.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe you'll be sponsored by it now.
We actually added the company
For Furky hot dogs or something, or
It was so first. We tagged them in the post. I don't think they were very psyched on it. But
I know when I watched the movie, right at
that.
that scene, I was like, I'm going to go get myself some tofurkey hot dogs right now. Maybe very hungry.
Yeah, actually, now that we have the new trailer, maybe we should try tagging them again, and maybe they'll be interested.
Oh my God, that'd be funny. That's a good idea. Controversy.
Right.
yeah, they got to spice up those ad campaigns. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's true. Make more people want to eat them.
It's true.
Yep.
It's true.
They'll say, this was in the movie, and I'm in Drop Dead Gorgeous, and I'm going to go get some tofurkey hot dogs.
Yeah.
How about cutting a trailer to begin with? Because so many trailers today, you want people to go see it, but you also don't want to give too much away of the movie. So what is that process like?
So we made the first two trailers that are kind of they're decent. We made ourselves, and it was really a tricky thing. But after talking to people who actually do this for a living and are in the business, Roman and Tyler really helped us with that again. They kind of were like, you guys have to kind of show a little more. And we were a little hesitant at first, but you know what? Like, might as well just do it. It makes for a better trailer and a better, showing a little bit more leg, I guess.
Yeah, I think it is a balance there. I mean, I think that like sometimes you're really reluctant to show anything that might give away plot elements, but then you realize that like there's just enough you can show sometimes that still will make people want to see the film, and that's the important thing. Like even if they're like, oh wait a minute, what's happening here? Like as long as it makes them want to go see the film, then you did your job. So
yeah, I think there's like oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say in the huge budget films, they give away too much.
Yeah.
And you're like, when you get to the good scene, it's like you've already seen it and you know what's going to happen. And
there's a lot of trailers like that.
Yeah, sometimes trailers
need to
show
go
all
see
the good
this
scenes.
movie now. Yeah.
I was kind of gonna, there's an art to it, I think. I feel like when I watch Netflix and they play their little trailers, I feel like they show the entire movie.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, well, I kind of get where it's going. And I'm just going to
fast forward to the end now.
Yeah, I'm just going to avoid this one, I guess.
Pretty guess the twist.
Yeah.
I remember a few years ago when they did the remake of Carrie, and they literally, I didn't even go see it, but I already know the movie, the original one, and they showed the whole movie in like 2 minutes. And I was even joking when I was watching. I was like, "Are they going to show like the blood scene?" And they did right in the trailer. So they showed just the whole film in like a 2-minute version. I was just like, "I don't know, I see it now."
The 2-minute version was probably better than the whole thing.
There are times I see movies and I think they should have just stayed a trailer. I won't name any names.
Well, that movie Wreck, the remake they did in America, the last 30 seconds are in the fucking trailer. You're watching that and you're like, wait. You're waiting for the whole movie for that scene to happen, and then the ending is that scene. You're like, that's like right in the trailer. Why would you do that? It's just confusing.
Yeah. The new Candyman trailer is pretty amazing.
It is, because they don't really show anything about it. I do love
them.
With the paper cutouts?
Yeah.
That was really good.
That's great. I love that stuff.
Yeah, I agree. It's really, really creative without giving away really anything in the movie and making you want to see that.
Yeah.
Trista, do you have a question about the movie?
I was wondering, so you guys are all in Rhode Island and you shot the film predominantly in Rhode Island, right?
Yeah.
I'm wondering about we met Roman and Tyler because of the Scream Queen doc, and we're a big fan of that. So I'm just wondering about the film community in Rhode Island. I've never been there. I've never shot there. Is there a thriving community? Do you guys have great festivals? Do you know a lot of filmmakers?
So there is the Rhode Island International Film Fest that's been going on for a long time, and they do their thing. There's some other locals. I know Nini that is in the film as well. One of she plays another character in there. She's in a few other movies. One called Strapped for Danger, 1 and 2. And the guy Richard Mark Griffin. He makes a bunch of movies here too, and he incorporates a lot of the LGBTQ community in those films as well. Phil Gillette, the one we mentioned before, that's helped us along with this movie. He lives in Providence now too, and I know he's always working on stuff.
He also runs the Necronomicon film fest.
Oh,
which
okay.
is-
Oh.
yeah, which is
cool.
every other year, every odd year, I think, right, Brendan?
Yeah, it's like every other year.
Yeah.
The guys from the PVD Horror, they're kind of like a horror group. They show movies here and there and have like nights. They're a blast. They're great guys too. There's a few little groups like that. There used to be a lot of big like horror film fests here, and they haven't done it in years, which is a total bummer. I'm hoping that's something that starts happening again. I think I first moved here back in 2003, and they were doing it up until like maybe like 2007 or 8, and they were showing some really cool stuff all over the city. And it kind of just petered out. I don't really know whatever happened, but I'm hoping this stuff kind of has a revival soon.
Is it easy to shoot there? Is it easier to shoot in, like, LA is very difficult sometimes to shoot in. Is it,
You mean in terms
is
of
it
like,
hospitable to shoot in Rhode Island?
you mean in terms of like permits and stuff like that? Or?
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things you shoot first, ask questions later.
Yeah.
Not very guerrilla, huh?
Yeah, exactly. It is guerrilla. I mean, I guess they're not as much of on the lookout for that sort of stuff here, where it might be harder to get away with it on the streets of LA.
Oh,
Here, like, it's not as populated and nobody's really asking any questions or expecting that anyway. So we have a few street shots that, you know, we may or may not had permits for. But then most of the stuff that we filmed is indoors, and that stuff, you know, of course, we have the permission of the owners of the buildings and stuff like that. And actually, that was a big boon for us because, like, we knew a lot of the people that they're part of, like, the gay community here. So the club owners and stuff that, like, Brandon has been friends with for a long time, and they were gracious enough to let us film in their space. And so we actually were able to use a lot of different locations that other people might not have had access to.
Not even just like gay locations,
Yeah.
so even like Pizza J and Dusk. I think the community, it's a pretty like artsy community. People are always, there's tons of music from here, tons of people doing stuff. So I think
always lots of live stuff going on around there. So it's nice, you know. I love the area. It's just so much fun to go to.
I am so confused. This is a gay movie. I want no part of this.
Scratch my name off.
Too late. We have your contract, Linnea.
Oh, jeez. I didn't sign on for that. My reputation.
I've only been to Providence a few times, but it always seemed like there's a lot more activity at night there than there is in Boston. Because people not from Boston don't realize like everything closes very early.
Yeah. Well, Providence is so small. Like when they think they can shut the whole downtown down. They do like outdoor fest all the time too, and it's just easier. Yeah. So like Boston, things are spread out pretty far, so it's hard to kind of have that stuff all the time. But when there's no COVID, Providence is always doing like block parties and all kinds of fun stuff.
Mike Rigney, he said there used to be a lot of rad horror cons here.
Yeah, there were way more horror cons here.
And by the way, I always thought Necronomicon is one of the greatest convention names ever.
Oh yeah.
Pretty sweet.
Wait, I think they should like write and film their next movie in France.
I'm down.
Like
it'll add this like different vibe to it.
Yeah. Are you going to be there, Linnea?
Yes, you're going to fly me over and Trista and everyone, and we'll have fun. We'll drink cappuccinos and ride bicycles with baguettes.
A big long bicycle that's made for like 12 people.
Yeah, that with the tandem bike.
Right, yeah. That's the movie right there. That's the scene.
Yeah.
Neal will wear that outfit. It'll be great.
Yeah.
I was picturing Neal with a beret and. Like,
I have one.
I should have
worn maybe I should have wore that tonight. The beret. But yeah. I have many silly hats or cool hats, I should say. I was wondering.
I thought of a good title for the film.
All right.
Oh,
Wait, 1 second.
Lucky Pierre.
Reign of Gloria Hole. The Reign of Gloria Hole.
Reign of Gloria Hole.
So do a death drop off the Eiffel Tower.
I was reading today. In
Just
Canada,
gave away the climax.
I I was reading today, speaking of gore, in Canada, they were actually like telling people to use glory holes, that they're safe. That's a safe thing during COVID. And I was like, I don't know how safe it is, but what do I know?
Yeah, I saw that.
We're going to ruin that. We're going to ruin that for everybody.
Yeah, it's not safe.
Yeah, I didn't think it was. But, yeah, I don't know. But. This is one of the notes I took because I like old pinball. And where was the place that had the Royal Rumble pinball, the Creature from the Black Lagoon? I'm like looking in the background, like, hey, that's a really cool pinball machine.
That's Pizza J. Yeah, that's Pizza J. It's a local pizza. Like, they do a lot of vegan, vegetarian stuff too. So we eat there a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just have a few pinball machines over to the side. Yeah.
Nice. I really like the Creature one. I'm a big fan of the Creature from Black Lagoon.
Yeah. I think that's visually one of my favorite scenes. It's so dreamlike.
Oh yeah.
Is that place near the P-Pack? Is that like down that way, or?
So Pizza J is kind of off the beaten path a little bit. But it's not too far from downtown though. But it's a good spot. Yeah. Right down Westminster.
Pizza J or P-Pack?
Oh, Pizza J.
Westminster. Yep.
Yeah, Westminster.
Oh, I thought maybe it was near the P-Pack. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, it'd be like probably what, a 15-minute walk, something like that.
Yeah.
It seems like everything's about a 15-minute walk
exactly.
from there.
Yeah. It's Rhode Island. Yeah, Massachusetts is like a 15-minute walk away. So.
Well, I'm taking an Uber. I don't want that 15-minute walk. I'm taking an Uber.
I'm fine. I walk 2 or 3 hours a day, so 15 minutes is no problem.
You're good to go.
Oh my God! Wow, that's what you do. Looking good.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And Linnea, you've always been very supportive of me getting healthier, and I appreciate that.
Yep.
I think it's great. I wish more people would do that.
I agree. And it's not only better physically, mentally, it helps a lot. You're much better.
I
mentally.
bet.
Yeah. Had any of the people from the locations, have they seen the movie?
A few of them have, yeah. I think the majority of them will see it this Saturday. There's a bunch of watch parties going on, but I think this should be interesting.
Yeah. Well, they're going to be so surprised it's about gay things, They're going to be like, whoa, this was about gay things.
Maybe, although if they know us, they're probably thinking, I don't know if they could do anything else other than gay.
The sequel could just be called Gay Things.
Gay Things, yeah.
Gay Things, the reign of Gloria Hole. Yes.
Yep, I like it.
In France.
I'm down.
Do you have any merchandise planned? Because
I'm going to start learning French right now.
Let's do it.
Parlez-vous français? Oh, oui. I took 2 years of French, but I don't remember too much of it.
Did you ask if we had merchandise?
Yes.
Ooh.
Well, we do. What do we have, guys, in terms of like our current stock? Do we have anything?
I have a few pins and a couple
T-shirt?
stickers.
A T-shirt?
Stickers.
Some tank tops.
Tank tops? That's even better.
Yep.
We should make some more T-shirts at some point. Different designs and stuff. We don't have like a website with like selling merch or anything like that. We've just been giving it out at various times at different like local events that we had, like fundraisers and stuff. But yeah, I'm sure at some point we'll have more merch available that we'll probably throw up
for the premiere.
We definitely need a shirt.
Oh yeah, we'll get some tank tops and some shirts going. Before the premiere on Saturday, our friend Katerina, she's in the bachelorette party. She's made 3 Death Drop Gorgeous COVID masks. We're going to auction
awesome.
The thing. Yeah. So those will be ready to go. I think I'm gonna go either live on my account or our Death Drop account. We're gonna try to auction them off, I think. But
I think they're even studded with like stones, right?
There's stones. Wow. There's a straw hole too,
and there's a straw hole. So
that's perfect.
A little flap that you can stick your straw in. So if you have a Janet straw like we have in the movie,
I love that too. That was one of my faves.
Yeah, for safety at the glory hole, like they told us.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Might need adjustable size, I guess.
Right. I guess if you're fitting in the straw hole, it's not necessarily flattering. So this so this Saturday, had you you guys said this was your first movie. So like, what's like your background in filmmaking? Like, how did you have you been on sets of other things?
Never been on set. I have a degree in digital recording and like all the technical stuff, not theory. So a lot of just like how to use cameras and sound equipment and framing scenes out and all the kind of like the technical aspects of it. So had that in my back pocket. So try to use that to the best of my ability.
Yeah, I minored in English, and that's as close as I'm going to get to anything to do with this filmmaking
Well, it's good
process.
that the movie was in English instead of the French sequel.
I kind of taught myself how to write a script. Like, that was just like something I was interested in. I also acted in high school, and I guess that kind of counts a little bit.
Yeah.
I was Charlie Brown.
Oh, really? I cannot picture that, to be honest. But
I know, weird, acting. Right? Yeah, no, I played Charlie Brown.
I played a tree once.
Really? Is it a role you would like to reprise, or?
Yes, I would like to be a birch next time, though. A birch tree.
It was probably less demanding.
Oak is so hard. Oak is just so hard.
I've heard that.
It's a very dense wood.
It is.
I'll try pine. No way can I do pine.
That's in your contract. No pine.
No pine.
No pine, man.
So how did?
Well,
I
can't wait to be seeing this now at a premiere when it will go everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't wait either. We're gonna have like a premiere here at some point in Providence, like a local one when we're actually able to open up theaters and stuff. But then once theaters open nationally, we're hoping to be able to like get sort of select showings wherever we can. So that's something that we'll have to work on once we're able to. But hopefully it'll come to an area near you somewhere someday, or you can come to us.
Okay, I'll come to you. That's better.
We'll see you in Texas.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. It better be over by then. I'd be so mad.
Oh my God. I know. June.
I'll rebel. I
hear that.
Well, I know you mentioned before, but where was it going to play in Texas?
Oh, Houston Horror Fest.
Okay. I've never been. I've been to Texas, but I've never been to the horror to that particular festival.
Yep.
The people that run that are great too. They're also been super, super nice. The festival lineup looks great. All the guests they have look great. Looks like a blast.
I think Tony Rodriguez, who commented earlier in the chat, he actually is one of the guys that directs it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's one of the founders of it.
Yeah.
Maybe Trista can come too.
Come on down.
Love this idea. Linnea has the best ideas, guys.
Yeah.
I know.
More than
we're going to France and Houston. Rhode Island. It's just exciting. I want first class, please.
Sure.
When you make reservations, please, first class.
And she's bringing 14 dogs.
Oh, that's right.
So 15 first class tickets.
That's great.
Right.
All first class. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll just charter you a private plane.
Okay. Yeah, because we have to bring Jack the humping dog. That'll be another podcast.
Yeah.
That'll be the third one. You get gay things, and then the third one will be Jack the Humping Dog. Maybe a spinoff.
That sounds like a great lineup.
Yeah.
Write him in.
Could be a
Jack
good
has
sitcom, Jack the Humping Dog. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. And then she would pick him up and he would fall asleep with his tongue hanging out of his mouth. I know.
I'd watch that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Sounds like me. Yeah.
I think Tristan and I figured out that he was trying to sleep his way to the top to be in the movie.
It's working.
Yeah, do what you gotta do.
He's doing a lot of talk here tonight.
Yeah,
He knows whose leg to hump.
he did. He did.
He did know. Poor Linnea.
That's right. He would look me right in the eye when he was doing it. It was very disturbing. And it got so used to it that I'd be talking to people and he's humping my leg and I'd
You're trying
forget.
to act like it's not happening. And,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I think eye contact is important. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That was horrible.
The intensity, yeah.
Yeah, too intense.
I don't know where to go from there. I was going to bring up the Janet straw, but it seems like a weird segue from Jack the Humping Dog to the Janet straw. But the Janet straw is very cool.
You guys, I've got to leave because it's time for me to go. But
oh, okay.
I have to go because I have to take the dogs out, and I don't want to take you with me.
All right. Who let
it might be traumatic.
I understand.
A lot of barking, and you can't hear yourself.
He's humping your leg right now, isn't he?
Yes. Oh my God! Get off, Jack! Jack! I felt like the Titanic, you know. Jack, come back, Jack! We did that scene. We did the scene of like, you know, on the boat, you know, where we're like, oh, it was so romantic. But with that, I think this is going to be, my prediction is it's going to be a cult classic. It's going to do great. And then we are going to France. That's my prediction.
Let's do it.
Our next goal.
Okay. I'll see you guys. I don't know.
Bye. We love you.
Talk to you,
I
Linnea.
love you guys a lot. Thank you for having me.
Love you as well. Welcome back anytime.
Always a pleasure.
I'll be back.
All right.
Just like the Terminator, if I can figure out how to get out. Let me see.
There's no escape.
I can hang up on you, but I always feel guilty.
I'm leaving.
Good night.
Hey.
He's trapped in the mainframe.
In the Matrix.
Oh, the Janet straw, though, I was going to say, we found the Janet straw on Etsy. We had this idea of like, well, she's drinking out of a straw. It'd be great if it actually says her name. And they're like, we don't know if they make them that big. And there's actually a woman on Etsy that makes customized straws as long as your name is under like 8 letters or less, I think. Yeah, so only like $15. So if you want one that says Neal, you can get one.
I do, yeah. Nasty Neal might be too long, but we can work with Neal or Nasty.
Just carry it around wherever you go.
Yeah, definitely. I'm all about this.
Yeah.
I do notice I drink a lot during the shows when I'm editing them, but if I had a cool straw, I would make it. It would make it a lot cooler.
Yeah, the showstopper.
Yeah, and hey, that's merchandise there. The Janet straw. You don't want to steal her deal though, the Etsy one.
Yeah,
but I think even a shirt with just the straw on would actually work.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
And it could be like blood. It could be blood in the glass, you know.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, what are some of your inspirations for movies? Because there's a lot of different styles in Death Drop Gorgeous.
There are a lot of different styles.
Yeah. So, you know, what are some of the things that like inspired you for the movie?
Were you inspired by John Waters at all?
Yeah, no, I think definitely that irreverence we were definitely inspired by. Visually, we were trying to kind of do like a Suspiria, the Dario Argento version, sort of giallo films. We were like color-wise inspired by. With writing the scenes with the cops, I just tried to write like the silliest dialogue that you would see in a CSI show. But I think those were our major, and like 80s slashers and stuff, we were definitely motivated us.
So like for the giallo-y stuff, like we wanted to paint this picture of like the nightlife being this kind of like fantastical, magical place, like as super colorful as possible. So I think like in these drag queens' minds, especially like Gloria Hole, it's almost this level of like this Hollywood fame that happens at night. It's just this new world opens up, and we wanted to portray the daytime as just kind of like drab and gray, which we were trying to make that happen. So like, what a better vehicle than like the psychedelic lights of like giallo films. Also pretty inspired by like Driller Killer, Miss 45.
Nice.
Just kind of like low budget like that after work on the weekends too, and they're low budget, but they're brilliant. They're just like they're gritty. They have like the music montage. That stuff was kind of fun. I said to the 80s slasher stuff, my favorite.
Also, those two movies. And I always like those movies from that era that were filmed in New York. They really have a real feel to them, which it's hard to capture now.
Maniac.
Yeah.
Maniac, definitely.
Oh yeah.
I think also the film. I don't know if you've seen the film Tangerine, but that was a very low budget. And while our movie doesn't look like Tangerine, it definitely, we were pretty inspired by that success story. It was filmed like entirely on an iPhone in LA, and it's this really poignant story. And I think that just seeing that like a film like that could get as far as it did, like really inspired us, at least like motivation wise.
Clu Gulager is in that, I think.
What was that?
Clu Gulager?
I think.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's great. It's it got all the way up to like Oscar nomination, which is crazy. I think that was inspiring too, because like one of our big things is like we knew we didn't have a big budget. We made this movie for around $20,000 that we all raised ourselves through crowdsourcing and fundraisers. And then a movie like Tangerine comes along and it shows that you don't need this big budget production. It's all about like using the talent that's around you, like using your community that's around you too. Yeah. Like the two trans women that are in Tangerine, I believe, are non-actresses, and they were fantastic. Like they were great. Like so you don't have to like pay these big budget actors to do these roles. You can actually find amazing talent all around you. You can film it on an iPhone. You can use the little like we use a very similar device that they use for sound on Tangerine too. So it just shows like I know like everyone's kind of attuned to like what a big budget production looks like, but I hope people can kind of like let that go for a little while and look at these smaller budgets that have way more heart and soul. That there is a story there are characters there. There's a lot that goes into these projects, and it's utilizing these like smaller. It's almost like when you shop local or you're using smaller businesses. It's like you're using the talent around you, and I'm hoping like when people see our movie or movies like Tangerine, that they're inspired to just like create and make stuff. Like anyone can do it. You just got to have the motivation. You got to discipline yourself. The fundraising sucks, but it's a necessary evil. But it's possible. You can do these things. So we're hoping we see like an uprising of these low budget productions. Especially with horror. So
yeah. I read an article earlier today that they said this summer that independent horror is really flourishing right now.
That's awesome. And it should. There's a lot of cool stuff happening all around us. And I wish people kind of let go of like keeping an eye out for the big name stuff and kind of look at the little stuff too. There's some great stuff out there.
And I wouldn't be surprised if it continues to do that with COVID, just because a lot of the bigger productions are shut down, and maybe that's why. But it's like there's a lot of big movies that are just have been halted now, or big production companies that can't even convene or meet. And there's a lot of little guys where it's like, well, it's just me and my camera and my actor, and so like you actually can go out and film stuff, so makes it a little easier for us.
What do you guys make of there's definitely a rise in popularity of drag queens in the last few years. A lot of it's with Drag Race, the TV show.
Right. Well, I think that that in our movie we touch upon that sort of divide between like the old generation of drag queens pre RuPaul's Drag Race, and then now what drag has transformed into as a result of RuPaul's Drag Race. And we're not saying one's better than the other. There's just like a conflict there, or there's a difference there. We also wanted to showcase what drag is actually kind of like in small cities across America. Like it's not as glamorous as you see on RuPaul's Drag Race. It's a lot of like going to a bar and like making $50, and then that's like what you make.
$50, your outfit costs like $300.
Right? Yeah. like you've sewed this outfit and you've gotten all these materials and you spend hundreds of dollars, but then you like make like 50, 75 bucks. And I think that we really wanted to kind of showcase that and what drag looks like in small city bars rather than on RuPaul's Drag Race or, I don't know, New York City or LA or something.
When you were asking like the different local places, were they all like on board with the idea?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
There was one location we had that we were supposed to film this the climactic like dynasty like fight at the end, and unfortunately they pulled out like very last minute for no reason, and they kind of like really pulled the rug out from under us. So we had to like scramble to find a spot, but we were very thankful that like for the most part everyone was super accommodating and were super supportive. I think that has to do with just like how small knit this community is versus like you were mentioning like harder to film in like LA. I don't think we would have been able to make this movie in like New York City or LA. I think it exists because Providence is so close knit and supportive and arty. So yeah.
Like no one even thought twice. Everyone is just so chill. We had zero pushback from any of these venues. They let us do whatever we want. We're like indebted to these places to just how lenient they were with us, you know, using their space.
Yeah, like the main drag bar that's featured in the film is the real name of the bar, the club is Dark Lady here in Providence, and they would let us come film before they would open at night. So it's like they would open at like 7 or 8, and they'd be like, all right, we'll come unlock the doors and let you in at 1 o'clock, and then you have 7 hours to like film whatever you need to in the club, and then as long as we finish up before they have to open, they're good. So it really worked out for us. Yeah.
When you talked about extras, would you just like tell people you're filming here, and you know whoever would show up would show up?
Pretty much.
Yeah, essentially. We would make like an event. Like so the scene at the sort of the noise rock metal show was actually like Brandon like kind of organized that event. So those bands really did play that day and people came to see a show, but also knowing that they would be an extra in this movie. So it was kind of like a 2-for-1 deal for
That's a win-win, yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Anxious Wave and In Heat. Both great bands you should also check out.
Yeah.
Now, Wayne, what did you think of the finished movie when you saw it for the first time?
It's if I'm not on screen, I was behind the scenes, so I was there a lot of like pretty much 98% of the time. But I mean it's I spend a lot of time covered in blood, so it's the best thing.
Wayne was like the stunt double of the killer too. But yeah, all of us there were 5 core people that did this. It was like me, Wayne, Ryan, Mike, and our friend Chris, who unfortunately couldn't be here tonight. We kind of just did everything. Eventually, sometimes we have like people on set helping out a little bit, but literally it was like the 5 of us who were really just kind of mishmashing this all together the best we could. So it was fun.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention when you brought up the detectives, I really liked their interaction. It was like, because they're very straight, but there's like so much like homoeroticism between the two.
Yeah, there's so much.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. We didn't know Sean Murphy before. We had like open auditions and he showed up, and the moment he like read for one of the roles, I was like, oh, he has to play one of the detectives.
Yeah.
He did so well. He's so talented. And yeah, I stared longingly into his blue eyes for a very long time. I was killed before we could, concentrate. The budding romance. I don't know.
Right. Before he could be the Linnea to you, you're Jack the humping dog.
Right? Yeah.
I didn't want to say it.
I'm fine with saying it.
Should have. It's a safe space here. You can say what you want.
Safe space, yes.
After you're on the show longer, you'll be fine saying, foolish.
Trista, I love you guys are like always doing stuff. It's great.
What was that?
What did you say, Brandon?
I'm saying you guys are always doing stuff. It's great. You have stuff going on all the time. I love it.
That's fun.
Thanks for checking out the show.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah.
Got the festival shirt going.
That's right.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Yeah,
That's great.
But yeah,
And
it's
also
very
it's-
fun, and it's very cool. Both Troy and I said this, to ourselves. It's awesome since Trista's joined. She's our favorite host, and it's been.
She just like fits right in. It's just like differently. She's just, like an old friend. It's crazy.
Oh, thank you. This is so nice. Thank you. It's very special for me, especially during these uncertain times. It's brought me, and this is not about me, it's about your film, but it has brought me a lot of joy, during,
that's awesome.
it definitely made me forget about a lot of scariness. So that's very special for me.
And you like my puppy, so
Yeah.
we gotta love
Who
you because
doesn't
of
like your puppy?
that. Good point. Yeah, he's got a lovable.
Yeah. And hopefully that's what people. When you say people watch all this stuff, and they can get away from the real world for a little while and just have fun and talk about movies or whatever.
Yeah, totally.
But I
think that's one of the
Trista
things
on
we-
a film in December, which I have no idea when that will actually be out, but hopefully at some point.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, we're hoping people have fun with our movie. I mean, it's we're having the premiere on Saturday, and like Brandon said, there's a lot of watch parties around. It's a little bit sad that we can't be at each and every one of those because we know there's a ton of friends, hundreds of people basically in total that are going to be watching it at different places and enjoying it. I would love to be able to have them all collected together at one space. But we'll work with what you can get right now, and then hopefully in the future we'll be able to recreate that.
Now, had any of you guys gone to Wicked Queer before? The
We
film
have
fest in
not.
Boston?
No, I've tried to go before, but just never made it.
Yeah,
And
I've
started
never have
with
either
that-
because it's usually around the same time as Boston Underground Film Festival, and I go to it, and it's just a lot
is
for me
it?
to go to at the same time. Yeah,
Yeah.
but they always have very interesting stuff going on.
Yeah. And the guy, Sean, that runs it is great too. He's just he puts his heart and soul into this thing. It's like it's a huge passion for him. He's a big film guy. Loves all the classics and Herschel Gordon Lewis. So it's fun talking to him too. Yeah, weird shit.
Yeah.
It has an interesting mix of genres. For people who don't know, it's not like all horror movies. It's all different, styles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was a Herschel Gordon Lewis fan, which I am as well. So that's
Neal loves him even more now.
Yeah. Actually, the second trailer that we made, the one we homemade, is kind of what caught Sean's eye. We did like a throwback to a Herschel Gordon Lewis style trailer. It's not as exciting as the one that Tyler cut for us, but the one that's like before this one that came out, we totally just did it Herschel style, and that caught Sean's eye. And that's we kind of talked about that too. He's like, oh yeah, you guys did that Herschel Gordon Lewis throwback. Kind of what got me into this. So that was kind of a nice little connection that got made via the Godfather of Gore.
Yes, yeah. And I say this because I love Herschel Gordon Lewis and I love his movies. They're not particularly great movies, but I love them very much.
Just like
also,
an
the
example
best.
of
If no one's ever listened to Herschel Gordon Lewis commentary tracks, I think they're the best. They're my favorite commentary tracks.
Well, he
Hey, you
just
said they'll sell you on anything.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the movies many times, but I'll watch them and think, wow, he must have made like the Godfather of horror movies here, the way he's talking about it.
He just didn't give a shit, and he didn't care what his audience wanted. He made what came from his heart. It was low budge, it was crazy, and it ended up working for him. And I think this is another example of making art that you want to see. If you're not seeing what you want to see, try to do your best to make it. Get that stuff out there. His movies are batshit crazy, and you look at the time period those things came out, and you're like, holy shit. So.
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite movies is Blood Feast. And it's like just crazy movie. And he's it's awesome. And one of my favorite stories. So we were doing an interview with Herschel Gordon Lewis, and he was on video. And this was before we were doing video. And so he was like, "Oh, so we're not. We're not on video." I was like, "No, it's not being recorded. It's just doing the audio." He's like, "So he was in a 3-piece suit, and he's like, so can I get comfortable?" I was like, "Yeah." So he reached up and loosened his tie like 1/8 of an inch, and that was it. And I was like, wow, really kicking
Neal
back.
saying, going, I'm not wearing any pants, but okay.
That's where I thought it was going to go.
Yeah, I was like, oh, whoa.
Which I don't know how Troy knew that right now, but
Well, you had the video too, but
right. On my OnlyFans website, you get an under the table camera view of the show.
Right. There's another camera, second camera.
And I wonder why I have no one joining. Maybe I'll catch on. But yeah, there's a lot of other festivals. You have International Horror Hotel in Ohio, Houston Horror Film you mentioned in Houston. There's a lot more here. Where can people find the information where you'd be able to see the movie?
All the social medias. www.deathdropgorgeous.com, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We don't. The Twitter is hit or miss. We're on there all the time. Instagram. Yeah, I think is that all of them?
Yeah, I mean, I think Instagram and Facebook are the easiest way to sort of keep track of our events and what's going on and updates and things like that, because things are changing constantly for us. Like with festivals, sometimes they'll move dates ahead and then they'll have to cancel again, and so we don't really share dates until we have a pretty good idea that those are concrete. But of course, like anything can change nowadays.
Where'd the name Death Drop Gorgeous come from?
I think Chris came up with it. And what we sort of liked about it is, as you guys pointed out with drag names earlier, drag names are always like kind of usually a pun or like playing off of something that's in pop culture. So I think what really worked with Death Drop Gorgeous was how it was like a play and a pun off of obviously Drop Dead Gorgeous, even though it's not alike at all as the film. And also Death Drop is like that sort of move that drag queens do where they just fall backwards onto the stage.
Yeah,
I don't know if you watch enough Drag Race, Neal. You might not.
No, I
know. Yeah, it can be an overused move.
It's true. Sometimes it's overused, especially lately. Originally, it's like in ballroom culture, it's called a dip, and then at some point, like colloquially, it like changed to Death Drop, and that's if you watch Drag Race, they do it during lip syncs. It's supposed to be like one of those like shocking moments.
Yeah, it looks super painful, but somehow it's like a controlled fall where I can't do one.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do it either.
Bend a knee and go back and land on their back, and somehow they're fine. So
somehow 400 pounds of Latrice Royale can do it. But I'd kill myself if I tried.
Oh my God! Yeah,
very impressed with Troy's drag knowledge.
I do have some knowledge here. That's true.
I love it.
Yeah, it's Latrice's.
Now I know why Troy can never do the shows on the weekend. He might be has secret identity or something. He has a lot of very nice long locks, so it would work.
You didn't know I had like the pull off beard though.
You make up for that. I don't know. Yeah, and our mom is actually a big fan of Drag Race as well. Troy and I are brothers, for people who don't know.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So when you were talking, I know you kind of touched on it, but so are there people who look down on on the show Drag Race because it has become kind of mainstream? I guess it's good and bad because it has made I think it's not as weird to people, for lack of a better term, but then it can also mainstream something that is owned by a certain audience.
Yeah, I think like with anything that gains popularity, it eventually becomes mainstream. And there's always sort of that I watched Drag Race before it was cool. Right. It's it happens with everything.
Metallica before the Black Album or something. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. What I love about Drag Race is that it, like you said, it has made it has put drag in culturally, and it's become more. I think for me, representation is so important, and I think even something like a competition show about drag queens, that's important, and I think kids seeing that and young people seeing that. I didn't have that growing up, and I think I would have probably flourished a little better if I did. So yeah, I appreciate it for that. I do think that it's lost some of its subversiveness going mainstream, but that's a huge topic we could go on for hours about. But I think I think drag can be super subversive, and I think that's what's amazing about it, and that's why I love it. And I think moving to a mainstream platform like VH1 only naturally caused it to be a little more like family friendly. But
I think part of the thing too with Drag Race now is that like it's become, because like it's a great thing that it's become more mainstream, but I think that because drag has become more mainstream and it started flourishing, that it's branched out into like a lot of different forms now. And so some people may feel like the sort of strain of drag that they see most prominently featured on Drag Race is only sort of one thing, and they may want to like represent their drag in other forms and have other platforms for doing so. So like Dragula, for instance, is sort of a competing, I don't know what to say competing, but it's another drag show that's on TV.
It's got a completely different vibe.
Completely different vibe. It's like monstrous drag. It's like people that want to get like dirty and gross and all this stuff. And so it's horror. I mean, it gives them a platform for doing that like they may not feel that they have on Drag Race. So, you know, it's just a natural branching, I think, of like interests.
And it's kind of nice now to see, like, you know, you got the Canada one and you have the UK one, and you got 2 seasons of the Thai one. Which, like, you want to talk about production values? That just blew my mind when we watched it.
Those runways?
Like, they've got these giant sets and just costumes. It's crazy.
Yeah.
The runways on the Thai Drag Race are out of control. They're so good.
Oh, yeah.
They're insane.
So it's just, like, I can't imagine how much they spend on, like, those. Especially like the finale, it just looked crazy. They had a cast of hundreds of people on the stage, and everybody's in full costume. It was just crazy. Nuts. People lighting themselves on fire. You know, it's just crazy shit.
Yeah.
Take notes, RuPaul.
Last time we had Mark Patton on, he talked about he predicted like the next big thing for horror conventions would be if like drag queens would get involved in like a horror convention, because he said it would really bring up like the showmanship of like a show like that. And I didn't know this, but he said like there is like a big cross fandom with drag queens and horror movies.
Yeah,
it was kind of a natural progression, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Dragula queens kind of do both. They'll do horror and drag conventions. Keep an eye out for those queens. They're great. Well, the last winner was a drag king on the last season, so kings and queens.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So were all of you horror fans? And hello to David's mom.
Oh. Hello.
The cat.
Yeah, sorry. Hi.
It's a very
so were all of you horror fans? Is that the question?
Yeah.
Always nice stuff. One of the animals pop out.
Like Mike mentions too, like part of the reason we made this movie was like we were getting kind of sick of like a lot of the lack of LGBTQ representation in horror. It's just not a whole lot out there. And just like kind of making like horror movies we haven't seen in a while. We want to do something kind of like campy, subversive, crazy, funny, gross. You know, like street trash, trauma, John Waters-ish kind of thing, and just have fun with it. So, our level of horror kind of brought us together to create this. But I think, all of us individually like all different styles of horror too. I hate speaking for Chris; he's not here, but like, Chris is big into like the kind of camp horror. Everyone that's here right now is like different styles we like too.
Did anybody want to speak about that? Their favorite style of horror?
I think I just love them all. I mean, like I'm a sucker for a good slasher. You can just throw a very simple plot together and just make it fun and gory, and I'm on board. I mean, one of my favorite movies is oddly enough Scream. My other favorite movie is Suspiria. So I love like that. They're two different ends of the spectrum.
You're all over the place.
Yeah, I know. And then slap in the middle is like Nightmare on Elm Street. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I like about horror, though, because they're all different styles. Because I love the stuff or basket case. Like, I love that as much as I love, like, Rosemary's Baby or Frankenstein or Psycho. Do I think they're equally as good movies? Right? Maybe not, but, like, I enjoy them as much.
And I have, like, a very big soft spot for Whatever Happened to Baby Jane.
Oh, hell
like,
yeah.
I
That's
love
really
that movie. That and Hush Charlotte. So I kind of love that. You know, I hate the term, but the hagsploitation films.
Yeah.
Such a bad term, but I mean, they're such good horror movies. You know, Straight Jacket, like Joan Crawford was just amazing in those movies.
Didn't they do a show about them not too long ago?
Yeah, they did. It was like Ryan Murphy, I think, did Feud.
Oh, that's right.
That's it. Yeah. Because I know that movie came up in it. I remember my mom was watching. I only saw like a little bit of it, but it looked interesting.
It was a good. It was actually really good. It was so well done.
So we mentioned the website, and this weekend is Wicked Queer, and is it going on right now? I know your guys' movie's on Saturday, but I think it might be happening right now.
I forget if it's today or tomorrow that the first film starts.
I think it starts Friday.
Yeah,
I think it's tomorrow.
Friday. Okay, tomorrow. Yep.
Yeah. All right, so people check that out and see what things you want to watch, and it'll be a good time.
Yeah.
You know, where can people follow each of you guys individually? I'm sorry to interrupt you there. Finish what you're about to say.
Oh, no, I was going to say there's just a lot of great films on there. I forget how many features they have. I think it's at least 10. And then some different shorts blocks with a lot of different great topics. And I think you can purchase like like passes that cover like multiple blocks, or you can do it per film. But yeah, definitely go check it out. Scroll through. There's a lot of films that aren't like ours that are on there too. So yep, it's great.
When you brought up shorts, it's interesting. You guys went right to a feature because most people I talk to, they make shorts and then they'll make a feature film.
Yeah, we're very unorthodox like that. I feel like, I don't know. Obviously, I wouldn't change anything, but if I would change one thing, if I knew how long this was going to take, I might have been like, hey, let's try something shorter first, maybe. I don't know. Wet our feet first. But no, we dove head first, and I think that's part of its charm.
Yeah, no, totally. And who knows, if you did the shorts first, you might not have done the feature, or or it might have came up later, and right now you wouldn't be able to film it, so it worked out.
Very true.
I think also like the fact that none of us had done a film before, and the fact that this was like an organic idea that like it wasn't like we were all like just raring to get into the film industry. It's kind of funny. I think we were all just actually gravitated towards this idea that you guys that like Brandon and Chris and Mike had, and once it sort of took on a life of its own and started being was created, it was too long to be a short film. I mean, like I think it was like there was just too much there, and it was obvious that it had to be a feature length. And then once it was written, it was like, all right, I guess we're doing this. So yeah, I don't think it was even like a thing from the get-go that we were like, all right, let's jump in and just do a feature film. It just sort of made sense with the idea,
Yeah. And I like what you said, because a lot of people will think of doing something, and I know this sounds like kind of dumb to even say, but a lot of people think about doing something, but if you don't do it, it never happens. So if you want to do something, you actually have to do
it. You got to get creative. You got to work with what you got. We did a lot of camera magic in the movie. Locations are not connected. I don't want to give anything away. Like the under the stage scene is filmed under our deck. Like if you hear about it, like, oh, this sounds like shit, but then you see it, you can make stuff work really, really well. Like it's just. You just got to be smart about what you do. Don't be afraid to reach out to people. Like, people, believe it or not, do want to help you. Like, when people hear about projects like this, we got all sorts of offers for help, for free or for little cost. Or people are just excited to be a part of something. And especially horror. Horror has such a tight-knit community, and people just love it. Like, they want to be a part of it. We had people that just did so much for us, just out of the kindness of their hearts. So they wanted to see this project happen. And I think you can't be afraid to like ask for favors. You can't be afraid to try to put yourself out there. You just got to do it.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
That's good to hear, though. That you found a lot of supportive people.
Yeah. I think this just comes with horror. I think there's a lot of just amazing people that are, it's a a lot of horror maniacs out there that love it, and I think that it's just such a tight network. You just meet all these different people all over the place, over the country, that just are great, and just like they're just happy to meet other like-minded people. So it's kind of fun.
Right.
AJ Zyla says, "Wish you all continued success. Can't wait to see the film."
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mariella
Yeah,
Perez.
I like the movie a ton. I'm sure we've all mentioned that. But, yeah,
Thank you.
I'm glad you enjoyed
it was
it.
just really, really good.
Oh, thanks very much. We appreciate that.
And Mariella Perez, who runs South Texas Underground Film Festival, says DYI or DIY. I said that backwards. Whatever. But yeah, she said it right. I said it wrong. But where can people follow you each individually? To your homes? No, I mean, no, online to see what you're up to.
We're all on the Instagrams and the Facebooks, so hunt us down.
We're all pretty much linked to the movie. So once you hit those pages, you're gonna find all.
I'll be honest. Sometimes when I try to always ask that, but then I always do think in the back of my mind, you could just Google these people and you'll probably find them.
Yeah, but I think it's nice to ask.
It is. Yeah. Or the movie. I guess if your movie's just called like Red or something, it would probably be hard.
Yeah, I think most importantly, to get people to just like follow like Death Drop Gorgeous on like Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, and then if you want to like find us individually, you definitely will be able to.
You can go to any one of those posts and just see who liked it, and you'll see like all of our.
They must give off the same could be said.
Well, I like your mom.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I do want to follow all their family members. You sound like a weirdo, but. So I'm being very honest tonight. Yeah.
I mean, we made a weirdo movie, so
that's very fair enough. I thought it was pretty normal. So. Yeah.
Hey, but if you want to follow Uncle Frank, you can do that. That's all right.
Old Uncle Frank, he's a good guy. This has been really fun, and I hope people check out the movie. And are there plans to do not even just sequel, but plans to work together on some future things?
I hope so.
Yeah. We actually have we don't give anything away, but like we've been kind of hacking away at like another screenplay that's almost completed. We're gonna try to see what we can get for whatever kind of income we get back from the movie to try to put into our next project too. So if there's any investors listening, some sugar daddies out there, but we really want to make this next movie. We don't want to skimp. This one actually needs like a little bit of money. It's going to be a monster movie. But yeah, so it kind of just depends like what kind of return we get. But yeah, there's projects coming up. There's going to be a music video that we're doing as a production company for our Anxious Wave that's in the film. We're doing their music video too. So like the Death Drop crew will be working on that as well, which is again it's going to be horror themed. So hopefully that'll be out by like October.
Very cool.
That's a good time for a horror themed project to drop.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
Send it over. We'll play it on the Facebook. That's how I met, started talking to
That's our next festival, right?
He sent the trailer over for the movie. When I've been playing the trailers before the interviews and stuff. And
oh yeah.
Really cool.
You guys have a hand in that thing that's happening at the drive-in? Is that you guys doing that?
No, but I know the guy that doing the Happenstance Horror Festival. Because my short film premiered at last year's Happenstance.
Yeah,
George Fraser up in I think he's doing it in New Hampshire. I'd love to go to that, but it's a little far for me. I'm on the Cape, but I love the idea, a festival in the drive-in. I think that's awesome.
Awesome.
That's a brilliant idea. Yeah, I haven't heard of that. That's great.
Yeah, and it's really cool. It's like a set price for for a carload. So like if you went up with 4 or 5 friends in your car, you just pay. I don't know the exact price. Like let's say $20 or something, but. I think that's an awesome idea. It'd be really fun, and you still have like the interaction with everyone being safe at the same time, and it'd be a really unique experience anyway. Watching a bunch of weird, because usually if we go to a drive-in, it's going to be like a classic, like the Jaws or something. And that's awesome too. But to see, a
Right.
bunch of like, because this is all short ones, happenstance. It's all a bunch of weird, short movies on the drive-in. When when are you gonna have the chance to do that? Like, I've never done that before, so I thought that was a really cool idea. I'm glad you brought that up because I think that's an awesome idea. People should check that out if you're in the New England area, or if you just want to make the drive. I don't know if you want to drive across country, go do it. But if you can make it to New Hampshire, let's check that out.
They just dropped that lineup, I think, 2 days ago. There's a lot of movies planned. There's a bunch. It looks fun.
Yeah, I've been to it before. Not when it's been the drive-in, and it's always a really good time. It's always it's all short horror movies. It's like probably 4 or 5 hour block of stuff, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
that's cool.
All right, guys. Well, this has been great.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Oh no,
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's great meeting all you guys.
And Linnea was the best, of course.
He always says
I'm
she
seeing a
steals the
trend
show.
on a lot of guests that Trista recommends. Deborah Lamb and Linnea. They seem to really put somebody over on the show. No, but everyone loves Linnea. It's very cool. And you guys are awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
We will talk again.
You guys as well.
So thank you.
Yeah, this has been fun.
Yeah.
It was great having you guys.
Yeah,
Yes.
thanks for having
Oh
us.
yeah. Yep. Keep up the good work, guys.
Oh, thank you. Let's keep in touch.
You guys get the good work as well. Like, these things are great. It's a great outlet for films like ours, especially. We can't thank you guys enough for being a stage and a vehicle for this stuff. So you guys are hard work. You guys do this stuff all the time. I always see you on there live. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I owe you guys a drink at Bravo if I ever see you guys there.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I love that place.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Well, I know all three of us really appreciate that because it is cool. It's fun to do it, but it's good that it helps filmmakers or people want to watch cool things. And it would be cool if we just sat here and talked, but it's cool that it helps somebody out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Bye,
we really
everybody.
appreciate it.
Yep.
Bye,
All right,
guys.
thanks again.
Bye.
Bye.
Anytime,
Thank you.
Bye.